Mr. Speaker. I'm Chukwuka Onyema. I represent the Federal Constituency of Anambra State. I bring this petition on behalf of Anambra State Fadama 3 AF Input Service Providers. The petition is against the Fadama 3 AF3 project for delay of payment of 2017 input disbursement to Fadama farmers in Anambra State. With your kind permission, Mr. Speaker, I would like to lay the report.
Please. Any more petition? Petitions referred to the Committee on Public Petitions. Honorable colleagues, the first business of the day is presentation of report of the Committee on Niger Delta Development Commission on the issue from the Statutory Revenue Fund of the Niger Delta Development Commission (NDDC). The total sum of 346 billion 513 million 46,222 kobo, only for which the sum of 19 billion 521 million 650,000 only is for personnel expenditure, while the sum of 12 billion 737 million 350,000 naira only is for overhead expenditure, while sum of 2 billion 883 million 46,220 kobo only is for internal capital expenditure, and the sum of 311 billion 371 million naira only is for development projects for the service of Niger Delta Development Commission (NDDC) for the financial year ending on 31st July 2019, standing in the name of Honorable Nicholas Mutu. Honorable members will recall that the matter was referred to the committee on Wednesday, 10 October 2018. The report is ready for presentation. Honorable Mutu is invited to present the report.
Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Chairman Rusa.
May I with respect draw attention to the fact that not taking
Honorable Pajok. You are not coming here. Anyway, you are Chairman Rusa business. You are free to do so. Go ahead.
I thought we would take number 8 before we go to the report presentation, sir. Yes, sir. That's a matter of urgent public importance, which you have already approved, Mr. Speaker.
Okay, thank you very much, Honorable Pajok, for calling me to order. It was an oversight. It's not an oversight. So you can go ahead now.
Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I have a matter of urgent public importance, which is on the need to obey the provisions of the Constitution with regards to first line charge, particularly with respect to the judiciary, the executive, INEC, and other bodies, subject to the, if the House permits, I would want to move the motion First, as an issue of urgent national public importance, and secondly, that we suspend the relevant House rules to enable me to take this matter. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, the matter is matters of urgent public importance and it borders on the non-full payment of the first line charge of the National Assembly and the Judiciary. Motion has two legs. Any seconder for the first leg of the motion that the matter is urgent and important. Any seconder? Yes, Princess.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Abdul. I represent Federal Capital Constituency from Anambra State. I start to second the motion as moved by my colleague, the chairman of Youth and Business. I so second, Mr. Speaker.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The second leg of the motion that the matter be taken now. Any seconder? Chipoge.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Respected colleagues. I remain as a very Belita Bashir. I represent Chibok, Boza, the Federal Constituency. I come from Borno State. I rise to second the motion that the matter be taken as urgent. I saw the state is.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Chairman Rules and Business, you can now move the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, my name is Edward Pajok. I represent the South East constituency of Plateau State. Mr. Speaker, the House notes that the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as amended, created and allocated separate powers in the three arms of government, namely the legislature in Section 4, the executive in Section 5, and the judiciary in Section 6. Further notes that the three arms of government are co-equal and meant to function independently in order to guarantee the smooth working of the government under the presidential constitution. Further notes that the Constitution was amended by the First Alteration Act 2010, Act Number 1, by altering Section 81, Subsection 3, to place INEC, the National Assembly, and the Judiciary on first-line charge by stipulating that the amount standing to the credit of those agencies or arms of government be paid directly to such bodies. Further notes that these bodies are captured in the annual appropriation acts under statutory transfers. Worried that the executive arm of government is currently in breach of the Constitution by refusing or neglecting to implement the mandatory provisions of the Constitution regarding statutory transfers and first-line charge requirements, by not releasing the funds to these bodies in line with the Appropriation Act 2018 and the Constitution. Worried that in spite of the previous resolution of the House passed in 2018 on the above subject and the appearance of the Minister of Finance before the ad hoc committee, the matter remained unresolved. Disturbed by the implication of the present flouting of the Appropriation Act 2018 and the Constitution, which may make the legislature and the judiciary to become subservient to the executive, thereby negating the letters and spirit of the Constitution and the law, with dire consequences on the practice of democracy in Nigeria. The House resolves: 1. Condemn in the strongest terms the breaches of the Constitution and the laws of statutory transfers by the executive, with particular reference to the 2018 Appropriation Act. 2. Urges the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria to direct the Minister of Finance and the Accountant General of the Federation to immediately fully implement the 2018 Appropriation Act with regards to statutory transfers to bodies which are on first-line charge, namely INEC, Niger Delta Development Commission, Universal Basic Education UBE, Public Complaints Commission and the National Human Rights Commission. Directs the leadership of the National Assembly and the relevant committees on appropriation, finance, and legislative compliance to ensure compliance and report back to the House within 2 weeks. 4. Transmit this resolution to the Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria for concurrence. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Any seconder? Yes, Honorable Goni.
Mr. Speaker, sir, honorable members, my name is Honorable Goni Bukarlawan, a member representing Lusari, Gaidami Lusari. I'm from Yobe State. Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise to second the motion heavily moved by the Chairman House Rules. I so second.
Chairman Rules and Business, do you still want to add 1 or 2 sentences?
Just in a minute, Mr. Speaker, to say that as mentioned in the motion, that the Constitution, which we all swore to respect and obey, has clearly stated that the National Assembly and the Judiciary are on the first line charge. This was done by the first alteration to the Constitution. The meaning of that is that whenever the government receives revenue and is paid into the consolidated revenue fund of the federal government, before any monies are released from that fund, the bodies named, that is the National Assembly, INEC, Judiciary, Public Complaints Commission, and National Human Rights Commission, should be paid first. That's why they are called first line charge. And there is no provision for discretion. There is no provision for deviation from the law, because they are backed by the Appropriation Act. In 2018, the President laid before the National Assembly estimates of the budget. That's why it's called a budget. But the moment the National Assembly passed it and the President signed it, it now became the Appropriation Act. Now, since it is now a law, the President or the Minister of Finance or anyone executive has no power or any discretion whether to obey that act or not. So since the act has already stated the amounts standing to the credit of those arms of government and those bodies, then the executive ought to fully obey the law by paying those amounts as and when due. Mr. Speaker, as we speak, the 2018 Appropriation Act contains an amount of 110 million naira to be paid to the judiciary. But as of but the executive is only paying up to 100 billion naira, meaning a shortfall of 10 million naira. That is not justified. Same thing of the National Assembly. They have not paid what they're supposed to pay to the National Assembly as contained in the Appropriation Act signed duly by Mr. President. So that's the essence of bringing this motion for the executive to respect the Constitution. As a matter of fact, it's gross misconduct for the executive not to obey the Appropriation Act they duly signed, backed by the supreme law of the land, which is the Constitution. So I urge honorable colleagues to support this motion. It is meant to further the cause of democracy. And let me add that parliaments elsewhere do not take lightly any breach of provisions of the Constitution. So, Mr. Speaker, that's the reason for this motion.
Yeah, thank you, Chairman Rules and Business. Only that in your prayer too, the National Assembly and the Judiciary are not contained in the prayer.
In fact, it's a typographical, I think it's the printer's devil. I wrote it, but it was omitted just as I was reading it. I saw the omission, so it's the printer's devil. So I think we can apply to amend by including the National Assembly.
You can go ahead and do so now, because if you move that this hand on the important motion, and the Judiciary and National Assembly are not included in the prayer, that is beyond the printer's devil.
Mr. Speaker, I do move that we amend prayer 2 Commission by including the National Assembly and the judiciary as the bodies that should also enjoy statutory transfers. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, since you are the mover of the motion, it doesn't need any secondment. So the prayer too has been amended accordingly, and it includes National Assembly and the judiciary. Those in favor of the motion as amended say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Having taken that, let me go back to our first business of the day. The first business of the day is presentation of report of the Committee on Niger Delta Development Commission on the issue from the Statutory Revenue Fund of the Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC. The total sum of 346,513,046,220 kobo, only for which the sum of 19,521,650,000 naira only is for personnel expenditure, while the sum of 12,737,350,000 naira only is for overhead expenditure, while the sum of 2,883,046,220 kobo is only for internal capital expenditure, and the sum of 311,371,000,000 naira is for development projects for the service of the Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC, for the financial year ending on 31st July 2019, standing in the name of Honorable Nicholas Mutu. Honorable members will recall that the matter was referred to the committee on Wednesday, 10 October 2018. The report is ready for presentation. I now invite Honorable Mutu to present the report.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mutu Nicholas Ebomo is my name. I represent Pomodi Patani Federal Constituency. I'm from Delta State. Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues, may I move that the House do receive report of the Committee on Niger Delta Development Commission on the issue from the Statutory Revenue Fund of the Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC, the total sum of 346,513,046,220 kobo only, of which the sum of 19,521,650,000 naira only is for personnel expenditure, while the sum of 12,737,350,000 naira only is for overhead expenditure, while the sum of 2,883,046,420 kobo only is for internal capital expenditure, and the sum of 311,371,000,000 naira only is for development projects for the service of the Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC, for the financial year ending 31st July 2019. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Any seconder? Honorable Osai, Nicholas Osai.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, distinguished honorable colleagues. Honorable Osai is my name. I rise to second the motion as moved by one of the longest serving House of Representatives that is called institution. Member, I so second.
Not one, the longest serving.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against say nay. You don't say nay against our most senior member of the House. The ayes have it. Honorable Mutu, go ahead to lay the report. The second business of the day is presentation of report of the Committee on Environment and Habitat on a bill and act to amend the National Biosafety Management Agency Act 2015 to enlarge the scope of its application and include other evolving aspects of the applications of modern biotechnology in Nigeria with a view to preventing any adverse effects on human health and environment and for related matters. Standing in the name of Honorable Obina Chidoka, honorable members will recall that the bill was referred to the committee on Thursday, 17 January 2019. The report is ready for presentation, and I invite Honorable Chidoka to present the report.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, honorable colleagues. My name is Obina Chidoka, representing Idemili North, Idemili South Federal Constituency of Anambra State. Right Honorable Speaker, I rise this morning to present a report that the House do receive the report of the Committee on Environment and Habitat on a bill for an act to amend the National Biosafety Management Agency Act 2015 to enlarge the scope of its application and include other evolving aspects of the applications of modern biotechnology in Nigeria with a view to preventing any adverse effects on human health and environment and for related matters. Right Honorable Speaker, I do move that I lay this report. Thank you.
Any seconder? Honorable Ezekiel.
Honorable Speaker, my colleagues, I'm Honorable Ezekiel Alaji Astan. To second the motion for the presentation of this report as so second.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Honorable Chidoka, lay the report, please. Honorable colleagues, the third business of the day is presentation of 5 reports of the Committee on Health Institutions standing in the name of Honorable Betty Apiafi. Honorable Apiafi is invited to present the report. Is anybody standing in for Honorable Apiafi? Yes, Honorable Jega.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, my honorable colleagues. My name is Mohammed Umar Jega, representing Aleru Kondu Jega, Federal Constituency of Kebbi State. Honorable Speaker, I rise to move that the House will receive the 5 reports on the following bills. 1. That the House will receive the report of the Committee of Health Institutions on bills or acts to provide the legal framework to establish all the federal medical centers, HB 1390 to 14100. Number 2, that the House will receive the report of the Committee of Health Institutions on a bill for an act to establish the Pharmaceutical Technologies and the Pharmacy Technician Regulatory Board of Nigeria to be vested with the responsibility for determining the standard of knowledge and skills to be attained by persons seeking to become pharmaceutical technologists and pharmacy technicians, and for related matters. Number 3 is a report that the House will receive the report of the Committee on Health Institution on a bill for an act to establish the Regional Center for Oral Health Research and Training Initiatives to, among other things, be responsible for advising, implementing, training, and coordinating research on matters of oral health, and to facilitate the implementation and the coordination of collaborative research and training in consultation with the World Health Organization and other national and international allied agencies and related matters. The next one, the first one, that the House will receive the report of the Committee on Health Institution on a bill for an act to establish the Institute of Healthcare Management Practitioners and to make provisions, among other things, for the membership and the control of the profession of healthcare management and for other related matters, HB 904. The last one, that is the fifth one, that the House will receive the report of the Committee on Health Institutions on a bill for an act to establish the Allied Dental Health Professionals Council and for related matters. I so move, Honorable Speaker and my honorable colleagues. Thank you.
Honorable Academy Bro. Yes, Honorable Bro.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker and honorary members. My name is Iboro Ekanem, aka IBB. Mr. Speaker, I rise to second the motion assembly moved by my brothers. I so second.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Honorable Jega, please lay the reports. Honorable colleagues, the fourth business of the day is presentation of report of the Committee on Internal Displaced Persons, Refugees and Initiatives of Northeast Zone on need to address the planned repatriation of Nigerian refugees from Cameroon, standing in the name of Honorable Mohammed Sani Soro. Honorable members will recall that the matter was referred to the committee on Thursday, 26 April 2018. The report is ready for presentation. Honorable Soro is invited to please present the report.
Order. Thank you very much, Your Excellency, my dear colleagues. I remain Mohammed Sani Zoro from Jigawa State. I represent Gumel, Gagarawa, Sultan Karkar, and Megatari. Honorable Speaker, Allegiance, please go back to your seat. Honorable Speaker, I rise to move. Honorable Speaker, I rise to move for the acceptance of the report of the House Committee on Internally Displaced Persons, Refugees and Initiatives on Northeast Zone on the need to address the planned repatriation of Nigerian refugees from Cameroon, HR 154 of 04-2018. I so move.
Any seconder?
Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, my name is Honorable Abubakar Yapusada. I represent Kanche Pusada Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Kasala State. support as moved by Honorable Mohammed Sadi Zoro. I support sir.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Zoro, please lay the report. The fifth business of the day is presentation of 9 reports of the Committee on Public Petitions standing in the name of Honorable Zoma Ikem Abonta. Honorable Abonta is invited to present the report.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I remain Zoma Ikem Abonta.
Any position from the state when they are taking for the others.
Speaker, sir, may I present the report? May I present the report of all decision as contained in other paper, particularly and more specified in item 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 of the other paper. I pray that I present same for consideration. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Any seconder?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm Yusuf Bubayakub. I represent Gombe Home Federal Constituency from Adamawa State. I rise to second the motion moved by Honorable Abonta. I so second.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Honorable Abonta, lay the reports. Honorable colleagues, the first order of the day is the third reading of a bill for an act to establish the Chartered Institute of Social Work Practitioners and to make provisions, among other things, for membership and control of the profession of social work and for related matters. Honorable members will recall that the House adopted the report of the Committee of the Whole on the bill on Tuesday, 16 April 2019. I therefore call on the leader of the House to move that the bill be now read the third time. Leader, would you allow the leader to do so?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to move for a bill for an act to establish the Chartered Institute of Social Work Practitioners and to make provisions, among other things, for membership and control of the profession of social work and for related matters. HB 1258, read a third time.
Deputy Leader.
Madam Speaker, sir, I rise to second the motion as moved by the Leader of the House.
Honorable member, the question is now that the bill be now read the third time. Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clerk is invited to read the long title of the bill.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, the bill for an act to establish the Chartered Institute of Social Work Practitioners and to make provisions, among other things, membership and control of the profession of social work and related matters. Third reading.
Bill read the third time and passed. The second order of the day is the third reading of a bill for an act to establish the Institute of Transport Administration of Nigeria charged with responsibility of advancing the study, training, and practice of transport management and administration in Nigeria and for related matters. Honorable members will recall that the House adopted the report of the Committee of the Whole on the bill on Thursday, 16 April 2019. I therefore call on the leader of the House to move that the bill be now read the third time. Leader.
Thank you once again, Mr. Speaker. I rise to move for a bill for an act to establish the Institute of Transport Administration of Nigeria, charged with responsibility of advancing the study, training, and practice of transport management and administration in Nigeria and related matters, HB 623, read the third time. I so move.
Deputy Leader.
Honorable Speaker, sir, respectfully, I rise to second the motion as moved by the Leader of the House.
Those in favor of the motion that the bill be now read for the third time, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Clerk is invited to read the long title of the bill.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, the bill for now to establish the Institute of Transport Administration of Nigeria, charged with the responsibility of advancing the study, training, and practice of transport management and administration in Nigeria and for related matters. Third reading.
Bill read for the third time and passed. The third order of the day is the third reading of a bill and act to establish the Projects Development Agency, PRODA, Enugu, to conduct scientific, engineering, and technological research aimed at facilitating the domestication and industrialization of appropriate technology for socio-economic advancement of Nigeria and for related matters. Honorable members will recall that the House adopted the report of the Committee of the Whole on the bill on Tuesday, 16 April 2019. I therefore call on the Leader of the House to move that the bill be now read the third time. Leader.
Honorable colleagues, order please, Engineer Farouk. Honorable Leader.
Respected Speaker, sir, I rise to act on the bill for an act to establish the Project Development Agency Enugu to conduct scientific, engineering, and technology research aimed at facilitating the domestication and industrialization of appropriate technology for socio-economic advancement in Nigeria and for other related matters related to that. I so move.
Empty.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, I hereby second the bill as heavily moved by Leader of the House.
The question is that the bill be now read the third time. Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clerk is invited to read the long title of the bill.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, the bill for now to establish the Project Development Agency, PRODA, Enugu, to conduct scientific, engineering, and technological research aimed at facilitating domestication and industrialization of appropriate technology for socio-economic advancement of Nigeria and for related matters. Third reading.
Bill read the third time and passed. Honorable colleagues, the fourth order of the day is the third reading of a bill for an act to repeal the Nigeria Council for Management Development Act, Chapter 9 N99, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, and enact the Nigerian Council for Management Development Bill and for related matters. Honorable members will recall that the House adopted the report of the Committee of the Whole on the bill on Tuesday, 16 April 2019. I therefore call on the Leader of the House to move that the bill be now read the third time. Leader.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise to move that the bill for an act to repeal the Nigerian Council for Management Development Act, Cap N99, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, and enact the Nigerian Council for Management Development Bill, be read the third time. I so move.
bill be read for the third time? Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clerk is invited to read the long title of the bill.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, the bill for an act to repeal the Nigerian Council for Management Development Act, Cap N99, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, and enact the Nigerian Council for Management Development Bill and for related matters. Third reading.
Bill read the third time and passed. The fifth order of the day is the third reading of a bill for an act to establish the traffic warning service, which shall be responsible for appointment, promotion, and discipline of traffic wardens, issuance of certificate of appointment and discharge, and for related matters. Honorable members will recall that the House adopted the report of the Committee of the Whole on the bill on Tuesday, 9 April 2019. I therefore call on the leader of the House to move that the bill be now read the third time. Leader.
Speaker, sir, respected colleagues, I rise to move that the bill for an act to establish a traffic warding service which shall be responsible for the appointment, promotion, and discipline of traffic wardens, issuance of certificate of appointments and discharge, and for other related matters related to that time. So move.
Empty.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, I hereby second the third reading of the bill as simply moved by the leader of the House.
The question is that the bill be now read the third time. Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clerk is invited to read the long title of the bill.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, the bill for an act to establish the traffic warning service, which shall be responsible for appointment, promotion, and discipline of traffic wardens, issuance of certificates of appointment and discharge, and for related matters. Third reading.
Bill read the third time and passed. The sixth order of the day is the third reading of a bill for an act to amend the University of Maiduguri Act, Chapter U10, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, to specify the minimum qualification of the chairman of the governing council, ownership of intellectual property, and to provide for pre-action notice to the university authority and for related matters. Honorable members will recall that the House adopted the report of the Committee of the Whole on the bill on Tuesday, 16 April 2019. I therefore call on the leader of the House to move that the bill be now read the third time. Leader.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise to move that the bill for an act to amend the University of Maiduguri Act, Cap U10, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, to specify the minimum qualification of the chairman of the governing council, ownership of intellectual property, and to provide for the reaction notice to the university authority and for related matters related the third time. So move.
Empty.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, I hereby second the third reading of the bill as moved by the leader of the House.
Honorable colleagues, the question is that the bill be now read the third time. Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clerk is invited to read the long title of the bill.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, the bill for an act to amend the University of Maiduguri Act, Cap U10, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, to specify the minimum qualification of the chairman of the governing council, ownership of intellectual property, and to provide for pre-action notice to the university authority and for related matters. Third reading.
Bill read the third time and passed. The seventh order of the day is the third reading of a bill for an act to amend the Abubakar Tafawa Balewa University Bauchi Act, Chapter A1, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, to specify the minimum qualification of the chairman of the governing council, ownership of intellectual property, and to provide for pre-action notice to the university authority and for related matters. Honorable members will recall that the House adopted the report of the Committee of the Whole on the bill on Tuesday, 16 April 2019. I therefore call on the Leader of the House to move that the bill be now read the third time. Leader.
Right, Honorable Speaker, sir, I ask that the bill for an act to amend the Abubakar Tafawa Balewa University Bauchi Act, Cap A1, Laws of Federation of Nigeria 2004, to specify the minimum qualification of the chairman of the governing council, ownership of intellectual property, and to provide the pre-action notice to the University Authority and for other related matters related to that time. I so moved.
Empty.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, I hereby second the third reading bill as ably moved by the Leader of the House.
Honorable colleagues, the question is that the bill be now read the third time. Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clerk is invited to read the long title of the bill.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, the bill for an act to amend the Abubakar Tafawa Balewa University Bauchi Act Cap A1 Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004 to specify the minimum qualification of the chairman of the governing council, ownership of intellectual property, and provide for pre-action notice to the university authority and related matters. Third reading.
Bill read the third time and passed. Honorable colleagues, the eighth order of the day is the third reading of a bill for an act to amend the Obafemi Awolowo University Transitional Provisions Act, Chapter 02, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, to specify the minimum qualification of the chairman of the council, ownership of intellectual property, and to provide for pre-action notice to the university authority and for related matters. Honorable members will recall that the House adopted the report of the Committee of the Whole on the bill on Tuesday, 16 April 2019. I therefore call on the Leader of the House to move that the bill be now read the third time. Leader.
Right, Honorable Speaker, sir, I ask move that the bill for an act to amend the Obafemi Awolowo University Transition Provisions Act, Cap 02, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, to specify the minimum qualification of the chairman of the governing council, ownership of intellectual property, and to provide for reaction notice to the university authority and for other related matters related to that. I so moved.
Empty.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, I hereby second the third reading of the bill as ably moved by the Leader of the House.
Honorable colleagues, the question is that the bill be now read the third time. Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Senator Diri. Clerk is invited to read the long title of the bill.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, the bill for an act to amend the Obafemi Awolowo University Transitional Provision Act, Cap 02, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, to specify the minimum qualification for the chairman of the governing council, ownership of intellectual property, and to provide for pre-action notice to the university authority and for related matters. Third reading.
Bill read the third time and passed. Honorable colleagues, the ninth order of the day is commencement of debate on the general principle of a bill for an act to provide for establishment of the Federal Polytechnic, Daura, and Katsina states, and for related matters, standing in the name of the House Leader. Honorable members will recall that the bill was transmitted from the Senate, seeking concurrence of the House, and read the first time on Tuesday, 9th April 2019. And I invite the Leader to move that the bill be now read a second time. Leader.
Honorable Speaker, sir, respected colleagues, I ask move that the bill for an act to provide a establishment of Federal Polytechnic Daura Katsina State and for other related matters be read the second time. So move.
Empty.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, I hereby second the second reading of the bill as ably moved by the Chair of the House.
Leader.
Honorable Speaker, sir, respected colleagues, this is a minister bill as seen coming from the Senate for concurrence for the purpose of establishing polytechnic at Daura. Daura being a very ancient time with a very large and versatile history, I think this will also go for that towards the tourist attraction apart from aside from the education requirement of Daura and environment. Mr. Speaker, respected colleagues, I believe technological education is very, very important in order to present space development, and that's why we require polytechnic to be established across the country as much as possible as we can have. I saw that I therefore deploy my colleagues to support this bill to read the second time. I submit. Thank you, sir.
Honorable colleagues, any other contributor? The question is that the bill be now read the second time. Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clerk is invited to read the long title of the bill.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, a bill for now to provide for the establishment of the federal polytechnic in Daura, Katsina State, and for related matters. Second reading.
Bill referred to the committee of the whole. Honorable colleagues, the 10th order of the day is commencement of debate on the general principle of a bill for an act to provide for establishment of Federal College of Education, Sabo Plenary, Sokoto State, and for related matters. Standing in the name of the House leader, honorable members will recall that the bill was transmitted from the Senate, seeking concurrence of the House, and read the first time on Tuesday, 13 March 2019, and I invite the leader to move that the bill be now read a second time. Leader.
Honorable Speaker, sir, I rise to move that the bill for an act to provide a stable federal college of education, Sabon Benin Sokoto State, and for that related matters be read the second time. So move.
Empty.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, I hereby second the second reading of the bill as ably moved by the leader of the House.
Leader.
Honorable Speaker, sir, respected colleagues, again, this is a bill seeking for concurrence coming from the Senate for the purpose of establishing a college of education. And for now, I would say our education requirement in terms of those who are supposed to be giving our children good education is far below the threshold of what we are supposed to have. It is in the light of this that I think, and I want to deploy our colleagues to support this bill so that we can have this institution established. And I believe it will do us good for the purpose of giving further education. The number of after-school children in this country is so much. Sokoto State is one of the areas that are suffering from this much insufficiency of educational, modern education. So I want to believe that we should give them the leverage to have institution. I so submit, sir.
Honorable colleagues, the question is that the bill not been read for a second time. Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Leader, clerk is invited to read the long title of the bill.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, the bill for now to provide for the establishment of Federal College of Education, Sabon Plenary, Sokoto State, and for related matters. Second reading.
Bill referred to the committee of the whole. The 11th order of the day is commencement of debate on the general principle of a bill for an act to provide for establishment of the Defense Research and Development Bureau and for related matters. Standing in the name of the House leader, honorable members will recall that the bill was transmitted from the Senate, seeking concurrence of the House, and read the first time on Tuesday, 29 January 2019. And I invite the leader to move that the bill be now read the second time.
Right Honorable Speaker, sir, respected colleagues, I like to move to that the bill to provide the establishment for the Defense Research and Development Bureau and for that late matter relate this content so move. It's a bit
empty.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, I hereby second the second reading of the bill as heavily moved by the Leader of the House.
Leader.
Right Honorable Speaker, respected colleagues, again this is a very state board bill. Already the institution is established. It's in existence, and I want to say the location of this particular institution is around the NASDA axis of, as you are going to Nyanya. So what we are trying to do is to have a legal backing for the establishment of the institution. And the purpose of this particular institution is for the purpose of collecting data. And they have helped a lot in curbing and stopping cyber crimes in Nigeria. So having the legal backing in terms of establishment will go a long way in giving the authority the legal backing. Mr. Speaker, respected colleagues, I am speaking from the point of knowledge because I have interfaced with the agency. This particular is under the federal character. And this was part of the issues that we raised as a committee because up to now they do not have, they have a kind of a pool of staff from the intelligence department, from the military, air force that are manning this particular agency. And I think by the time we have this one fully established, they will now have to do the correct. But the most important is this: their main soul and function is stopping cyber crime, and they have helped a lot. They have done a lot of job in this country, and they have also improved the quality of those in this particular field. Thank you very much. I want to believe that members would contribute to ensure that the bill still through. Thank you, sir.
Honorable Mayowa, Honorable Ladimeji, Olemija, Amir, and then the leader of the house, Jimmy Benson. Please take your seats. Honorable Mukala Kazim, take your seat. The question is that, okay, Honorable Nena.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, sir. My name is Nena Ilendu KJ, member representing Bende Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, sir, I'm from Abia State. Mr. Speaker, I've listened to the leader speak to this bill, and of course, looking at the topic and the title of the bill, Defense Research and Development Bureau, my concern was how that deviated from DICOM, which is the defense for building, another bureau for building and developing Nigeria's defense industry locally. Now, Mr. Speaker, he's explained to us that it is already in existence and its job basically is on data collection and cyber crime. So I'm very concerned about the nomenclature, the name of this and the nomenclature and what it is that he says that they do. Because when someone speaks to defense research, I would think that defense research would also be, yes, part of it would be data collection as well, but I would also think that it would be to building a defense industry in such a way that supports Nigeria's already existing defense industry, and then there may be an overlap with DICOM. But when you say to me that this is what they do, and it's just defense, it's data collection and helping with cyber crime, I'm a little concerned with what it is that we're starting to pass and what it is that they do. So I'd have wanted a bit more clarification as to what exactly it does, because if it is just to collect data to help cyber crimes, I'm a little concerned about the existence and how it applies to other things outside of defense, because a lot of cyber crimes are not defense related. So for me, I'm a little concerned. So I would have wanted there to be more clarification on the functions of this particular institution so that we understand exactly what it is we're passing and how wide-reaching and far-reaching
listen to her, you will have the opportunity of a right of reply. But looks like other members want to contribute, so I want you to listen to her. Did you hear her speak? She basically was asking for what other functions this particular body will perform aside collecting data on defense matter which dovetails into cybercrime. So that is just hold on. There are others who want to contribute. Honorable Pajok.
Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, unfortunately, I do not think that the compendium was circulated so that members would have had the benefit of digesting the contents of this bill, which emanated from the Senate. They are seeking concurrence of the House. Be that as it may, though the points raised by Honorable Elendu are very, very cogent, I would rather suggest that we would make copies of the compendium available to members, in particular her good self and other members who are interested in contributing on this very important matter. However, as important as the observations she has made are, I do think that we can pass this bill at this stage, which is for second reading. Then when we bring the report in the committee of the whole, after digesting the contents of the Senate bill, if there's any need to bring some amendments by way of improving on the bill, I think that can be done. Yes, she said the issue of data collection or cybercrime may not really dovetail, let me borrow her words, into this bill, but I do think that they are still defense related. So when we get to the committee of the whole, she'll bring her amendments. Some of us too may also have some amendments, but I think that this bill can be allowed to pass through the second reading. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Any other contributor before we give the floor to the leader of the House? Leader.
Yes, sir. Mr. Speaker, respected colleagues, I want to make my sister, Honorable Nenda, to be patient to allow this bill to be read the second time. Two, on the very serious note, this is a very much intelligence institution that necessarily, even when we call them before us, they don't devote and they will not like to devote the main function of what they are doing. But the knowledge, because this is public and it's like live to the air, is explaining, and it will jeopardize their own action and activity. But they told us at that meeting, and if there are members of federal character that are here will testify, that what they do, I said they post into people who are likely to commit such kind of heinous crimes against Nigeria, and they have helped in no small measure in collecting data, sharing intelligence information through the satellite and other things regarding the insurgency and other criminal activity. In fact, it's very, very important institution as far as I'm concerned, and I want to beg that please kindly and other colleagues kindly allow it to raise content. Thank you very much, sir.
Anyway, leader, I think let me also, not necessarily supporting her, but expanding the scope of where it started from. She originally wanted to see the difference between this establishment and DICON, but the difference is clear. DICON is imaginary equipment making establishment. But is there any market difference between this establishment and DMI? Because you are talking about collecting data, defense matter, and I think one of the few things that agitated her was dovetailing everything to cyber crime. Yes, we will allow the bill to pass, but we need a lot of, like, you should have taken it from the chairman of business by affording members the compendium on this, and I will expect you to do that the compendium must be made available so that members can get into the function of these things.
Thank you, sir. thank you for the gracious explanation and then appeal on the conscience of our own members. Two, I want to again seek for the forgiveness of my colleagues. This is possibly part of our workload and the attempt to pass many bills. We will sort out between my office and the office of the chairman of households so that we'll do the job better and in a manner that can be much appreciated. But there's a huge difference between this one and defense and DICON. DICON are the one who are producing hardware. This one particularly, yes sir, they also have difference. In this one, there are some civilians that are involved in this activity. Whereas defense intelligence solely are the purpose of procuring war and other activities. It's like there is a mix-up between the civilian and even international relations. That's why in the explanation they gave us, say it will not be good for officer to devote because they seek to at that time to go on that camera. Thank you very much, sir.
Okay. Between your office and the office of the chairman rules and business, you should make available the compendium on this bill so that members can afford themselves to see in clear terms the functions that this one will perform when eventually established. So the question now is, the bill be now read the second time. Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clerk is invited to read the long title of the bill.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, the bill for now to provide for the establishment of the Defense Research and Development Bureau, DRDB, and for related matters. Second reading.
Daniel Asuko, leader of the House. Jimmy Benson, Toby Okechukwu, Hassan Saleh, being referred to the committee of the whole. The 12th order of the day is a motion on discharge of committees from referrals of bills pursuant to Order 17, Rule 31G of the Standing Orders of the House of Representatives, standing in the name of Honorable Edward G. Pajok. Honorable Pajok is invited to move the motion.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the House notes that the following bills were read the second time separately in 2018 and referred to relevant committees with jurisdiction over the subject matter for further legislative action. 1. Federal University of Agriculture Sabongida Establishment Bill, HB 1356-2018. The date is the 22nd of May 2018, referred to the Committee of Treasury, Education and Services. 2. The Federal Polytechnic Kwale Establishment Bill, HB 1497-2018. The date is 18th July 2018. Referred to the Committee on Treasury, Education and Services. 3. International Studies Regulations Bill, HB 1005-2017, referred to on the 13th of December 2018. Committee, Tertiary Education and Services, Finance, Financial Crimes and Public Service Matters. 4. National Health Act, Amendment Bill HB 1267-2018, referred to on the 14th of February 2018. Committee, Healthcare Services and Health Institutions. 5. National Orientation Agency Act Amendment Bill HB 1266-2018, referred to on the 23rd of January 2018. Committee, Information, National Orientation, Ethics and Values. 6. Plastic Bags Prohibition Bill HB 1437-2018, referred to on the 4th of July 2018. Committee,
Environment and Habitat. 7. National Institute of Construction Technology and Management Establishment Bill HB 1350 2018, referred to on the 5th of June 2018. Committee works. 8. Health Care Facilities Minimum Standards Establishment Bill HB 1480 2018, referred to on the 18th of October 2018. Committee Health Institutions. And lastly, number 9, Age Discrimination Eradication Bill HB 1502 of 2018, referred to on the 7th of November 2018. Committee Labor, Employment and Productivity. The House is aware that the committees are yet to present their reports on the bills contrary to the provisions of Order 17 to 3 sub 1G of the Standing Orders of the House of Representatives, which any matter referred to any committee shall be treated within 30 days, otherwise the committee shall stand discharged after 60 days and the matter committed to the Committee of the Whole for consideration. The House resolves to discharge the committees of the above-mentioned bills and commit same to the Committee of the Whole for consideration. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Any seconder, Honorable Dambara.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, my honorable colleagues. I remain Honorable Nambram Abakarnu, representing Kano Municipal, the only gentleman from the municipality in the whole of the Great Chambers, and I am from Kano. Mr. Speaker, my honorable colleagues, I rise to second this motion as moved by the Chairman, Rules and Business. I so second. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. But Honorable colleagues, the 13th order of the day is a motion on recommittal of 3 bills standing in the name of Honorable Edward Pajok. Honorable Pajok is invited to move the motion.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Mr. Speaker, Honorable colleagues, the House notes that the Nigerian Film Commission Bill 2018, National Institute for Credit Administration Bill 2018, and the prohibition of double taxation between the Federal Republic of Nigeria and the Republic of Korea, Domestication and Enforcement Bill 2018 were passed by the National Assembly and transmitted to the President for assent. Recalls that the bills were returned with some observations which need to be addressed. Resolves to rescind its decision on the affected clauses of the bill as passed and recommit same to the Committee of the Whole for reconsideration and passage. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Any seconder? There's Honorable Shekara should come and second while taking the seat of the Chief Whip.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Honorable Asa Adam Shekarau, the Acting Chief Whip. I rise to second the motion as ably moved by the Chairman, Rules and Business. I so second.
Thank you very much. Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Honorable Pajok.
Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, may I, in view of the importance of an item that will be moved on the floor of this House, move that the House set aside its relevant rules to allow us to rearrange our business, which has been itemized in order 8 of the standing orders of this House, which Mr. Speaker in the House has been following appropriately this morning. I have us reverse the order to allow us to take another matter of urgent public importance in view of the importance of that matter. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Any seconder, Honorable Sanchez.
Mr. Speaker, my highly esteemed colleagues, I'm Sergius Ose Ogun. I represent Eastern Northeast, Eastern Southeast. I rise to second the motion ably moved by Honorable Edward Pajok. I so second.
What you have just seconded is that it is in order to follow the itemized items on our other paper. But this year is the 5th year of the adoption of the Chibok girl, and so we are going to have a motion on that. So what we have just done is to seek the leave of the House first and foremost to allow us the items on the other paper and to suspend all other relevant rules of the House. So that is the order that Honorable Pajok has just moved. So those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. So the Chibok girl cannot come under Order 8, Rule 4, which is matters of urgent public importance, and the other one, which is 5, to move our motion. So Chibok girl.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, my respected colleagues. As Mr. Speaker said, I come under Order 854 to enable this Honorable House to suspend all its rules and allow me to present a matter of urgent public importance that concerns my constituency is on the issue of the 5th year anniversary of the Chibok girls that are still in captivity. I so move, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Yes, for second Honorable Nena Elendu KJ to second the first leg of the motion.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, sir, for yielding the floor to me. My name is Nena Elendu KJ, member representing Bedner Federal Constituency. I'd like to rise to second the motion as moved by my sister, Chibok girl. I so.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The second leg of the motion will be seconded by Honorable Binta.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I remain Binta Bello, representing Kaltung Boshongo. I raise second leg of the motion as moved by my sister, Honorable Asebi. I say second.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. So, Honorable Asabe Filita, you can now move the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I thank you, my respected colleagues. This is a call on the federal government to intensify efforts to secure the release of the remaining Chibok girls, Leah Sharibu and Alice Ngada, who are still in the captivity of the Boko Haram insurgents. Mr. Speaker, sir, this House notes that the 14th April 2019 marked the 5th year anniversary of the kidnapped 219 Chibok girls by the Boko Haram insurgents. This House further notes that over 100 abducted girls were also abducted by the same insurgents. Mr. Speaker, sir, this House commends the effort of the federal government in releasing the 107 Chibok girls and the Dapchi girls, except Leah Sharibu and Alice Ngada. This Honorable House is concerned that despite the local and international cries, 112 girls of Chibok, Leah Sharibu and Alice Ngada are still in captivity. Mr. Speaker, sir, honorable colleagues, the House hereby resolves to urge the federal government to intensify its effort to secure the release of the remaining Chibok girls, Leah Sharibu and Alice Ngada in captivity. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, respected colleagues. I so move.
Any contributor? Yes, let me start from your neighbor, Honorable Senator-elect Diridoye.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, my esteemed colleagues. I remain Diridoye, representing the great people of Yenagua, Kolokuma, Obokuma Federal Constituency of Bayelsa State. Mr. Speaker, esteemed colleagues, it is heart-bleeding for us to still be talking on this floor about the release of our daughters and our sisters who have been there for years, and particularly Leah Sharibu of the Dapchi captivity. Mr. Speaker, the way and manner we approach elections, particularly our security, the vigor, the passion with which our security operates when we go into elections, if half of that passion, if half of that vigor is put in the release of these girls, I'm very sure that today we will no longer be raising motions, be making protests in Lagos, in Abuja. It was so painful when I saw that mock school that was exhibited by the Bring Back Our Girls group. They had a mock schooling session, and in that mock schooling session, you can see empty tables, empty chairs, with names inscribed of all
kidnappers. And I think that this should be a final wake-up call for our security agencies and for the federal government. Part of what the federal government of Nigeria wrote on to be elected in 2015 was the release of the Chibok girls. And these girls are still in captivity as we speak today. And so I support this motion and not only urging them, calling on them to speedily move in to ensure that these innocent girls are released. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, sir, for yielding the floor to me. And again, I'd like to thank the House and the Chairman, Business and Rules, for giving us an opportunity to come round and have this conversation today on the floor of Parliament about something that I consider to be extremely important. Mr. Speaker, sir, Nigeria is the theater of violence. But in the last couple of days, everywhere around the world, this has been the conversation. Even the United States Congress had a sitting on the Chibok girls. And so I'm very glad that we have amended our rules and moved our rules around to give us an opportunity to even address this issue. And Mr. Speaker, sir, 5 years on, we understand and we breathe the air of freedom. But Mr. Speaker, for the people, and the reason why prison, incarceration, is one of the greatest punishments you can give man, is that man recognizes just what freedom means. And so when girls have been in captivity for 5 years, their freedom taken away from them, probably sex slaves to men who they despise. Mr. Speaker, sir, it reflects us as people. In interviews with some of the parents of the Chibok girls, they say that a lot of them have died from broken hearts. A lot of the parents have died waiting for their daughters to come back. But while these girls may be symbolic, Mr. Speaker, it shows the darkness of this war, this decade-long war that Nigeria fights, where women are used as weapons in this war, where women are the greatest victims in this war. Aside from the Chibok girls, there again is the Dapchi girls. And the reason why we remember them is because of the sheer enormity of the numbers of these girls. But there's so many other girls and women who are victims of this horrible war. And Mr. Speaker, when we as a country sit down and the level of advocacy dwindles year by year to the fifth year where it's barely talked about, where the huge numbers of women who were the Bring Back Our Girls campaign now start to dwindle to probably 20 people, the question now becomes that which one will go out first? The candle on the Bring Back Our Girls campaign or the girls coming back? Mr. Speaker, I am very, very worried that we seem as a country to be losing our humanity. And this has the coloration of what the darkness of this incident has done to us. The psyche of the Nigerian people is one, that when they say that again another village has been invaded, we ask how many people dead. And you find our default that some of us actually say only 27, only 10. How many people were abducted? Well, only 4 girls. Mr. Speaker, it speaks to the psyche of the Nigerian people. I believe that as we recognize that 5 years on, these girls are still in captivity, I think that what this more than anything does to us is to realize the futility of our existence as our people. That for as long as these girls are in captivity and carry on as if it's okay, Mr. Speaker, there is the terrorists are winning, because they're dealing and they're messing up our psyche. And I heard Honorable Melita Bashir say she wants to commend the federal government. Well, I battled with that a little. I think we can do a lot more. I think that even in engaging with the parents, I listened to interviews from some of the parents and they say they have ignored us. They have forgotten about us. They don't care about us anymore. And Mr. Speaker, for us sitting down here, it's okay for us to commend, and I think it's a politically correct thing to do. But for as long as these parents continue to feel that government has abandoned them, then Mr. Speaker, we have failed. We have failed in our collective to do that which we must do. I implore, and I recognize as well, the gallant men and women of the Nigerian Armed Forces who have spent blood, sweat and tears trying to contain this horrible war. But Mr. Speaker, even beyond the Chibok girls, I think we need a totally different mindset as to what we do about the security of lives of our people, about what we do with engaging with that war in the Northeast, about what we do with standing up the Nigerian military and standing up the police in such a way that human lives mean more to the Nigerian people. Mr. Speaker, my heart will always go out to them. My commendations will always go out to the Bring Back Our Girls campaign. But in doing so, I shall also urge them that this is not a sprint, it is a marathon. That they should continue with the same passion that they started with. That they would have failed if the girls don't come back. That to be tired is not the way to go. And I will implore all of us as Nigerians that as we wake up and go around our lives in absolute freedom, that we spare a thought for these girls who remain in captivity. And that for as long as these girls are out there and remain in captivity, then none of us is free. Thank you.
Yeah, Ken.
Mr. Speaker, thank you very much. My name is Ken Chikere. I represent the good people of the Port Harcourt Federal Constituency 1 in Rivers State. Mr. Speaker, as I have always said, we are repetitive for emphasis. And so I would first align with the mover of the motion and with Honorable Diri. Honorable Diri, I didn't know you were going to the Senate. Congratulations. And then my sister, Honorable Nena. Now, each of them made the necessary points that we need to make. I would say that we need to give praise to the federal government. Just so that, as my people say, if you praise somebody who has done good, you probably do more of the good. Now, Mr. Speaker, it is shameful that the Chibok girls, the release of some of them was negotiated. And one wonders why that negotiation was not inclusive. Over time, if my reading is correct, the federal government may have also been speaking with Boko Haram or an arm or a representative of it. So one wonders why this release or releases have been selective. So I want to join those who are urging the federal government. It is really shameful. Now, like somebody just said, when elections come, when it comes to shooting people on the streets of even our major cities, our security forces are all there. We love them, we support them, they defend us, but we want them to do a little more. Leave elections alone. Leave shooting innocent citizens on the street and face our defenses. So let us urge them, and especially urge the federal government. Whatever was done for those that were released, let it be done for the remaining girls to be released. Nana had just spoken about the suffering, the agony of the parents of these girls. We need the federal government to do a little more. We need to leave radio show, television show, propaganda, and do a little more. Because I think immediately after the radio propaganda, immediately after the television propaganda, the girls are forgotten. The issues are forgotten. And so the girls, those who are remaining, have remained there for 5 whole years. I don't want to ask whether they are still alive. I'm on television, probably. But questions need to be asked. And I think the federal government needs to do a little more for their release. So we urge them. I support this motion in trying to beg them to see that something is done. The other issue, Mr. Speaker, is sanction. When you look at the whole gamut of the affairs, of the issues surrounding the Chibok girls, I doubt that anybody has been sanctioned. Because I recall that at the beginning, there were stories that those girls oughtn't have been there in the first place. So there was a chain of persons who ought to have been sanctioned. And one of the major drawbacks of our country is that there is no sanction. We have all the laws. You sit here. I sit here and I admire and congratulate my colleagues as they rail out laws. What about the sanction? That is what is missing. We must get our country right. Let everything be done for the girls to be released. And for those girls, and for future occurrences, let there be sanction. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Sergius.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, highly esteemed colleagues. I'm Sergius Ose Ogun. I represent Esan Northeast, Esan Southeast, and I'm from Edo State. Mr. Speaker, I just want to add a little to what my colleagues have already said here. I think the government, the federal government, the executive as it is constituted today, owes this country an apology and an explanation. Why 5 years down the road, we do not have any information on the status of these Chibok girls. The president or whoever, the interior minister, needs to, besides talking to the parents, should talk to Nigerians. When Chibok happened, they say it was very unfortunate. That actually happened. Nobody expected that. Since then, we had incidents all over the country. In Lagos, when they went to schools and all. I'm saying this, Mr. Speaker, from the point of view of, like I keep saying here, investors. We know those days, diplomats come to this country, they come with their families. They give birth to their children here. But that's not happening anymore. Because I have a daughter that is in school, is in a boarding house. And that would be a family's greatest nightmare, to know that your child has been taken from the school and will never come back or might never come back. So besides saying that we should invest more in security to make sure that this does not happen ever again, I also think the government hasn't managed this well, and we should let them know, and there's a whole lot they can do from now. They should let the families know the status of the investigation, if there's any, and they should also let us know. We are stakeholders, we are Nigerians. Let us know the number of girls that are still living. If anyone is dead, unfortunately, they should let us know, and what they are doing about it. They can't just hide under the fact that it's a security matter. For 5 years has remained a security matter, and we don't know what is happening. I think the federal government, when I mean federal government, the executive needs to speak up on this. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Toby Okechukwu.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable colleagues, my name is Toby Okechukwu. I represent an area of Wodiri Enugu State. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I want to thank Mrs. Ashabe, Honorable Ashabe, for bringing this to the fore. Actually, most of the time, she's a member of my committee and I sympathize with her because she represents Chibok and she continues to wear and carry the burden, just like the rest of us. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, it is a terrible dent and probably irredeemable that we have 219 of our girls from Chibok in Borno State, 100 of our girls from that kidnapped in this country. I have never heard of any situation where 219 people or 100 people could be kidnapped in one fell swoop. And we say that the foremost responsibility of government is to secure the country and its people. If government cannot do that, then government is on a wall. And to add a terrible additional scare is that after 5 years, these girls, a good number of them, over 100 in Chibok, and yet Shaibu is still in incarceration. They are still in captivity. And that is why here in this country, we continue to think and assume that when they kidnap people along Kaduna-Abuja Road, or they kidnap people in maybe about 5 people, that is the new normal. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, there is nothing normal about it. The first court is always the deepest. And when Nigeria lost its innocence with regard to terror, captivity, and Chibok, it meant that when anybody is taking it, doesn't mean anything anymore. And that is why there is no tinge of conscience. And government will be coming every other day, making expenditure. There is no background intelligence report. What has government been doing for the past 5 years? These matters must be given account of. And I believe, and I strongly think, that until we begin to be accountable, Mr. Speaker, there is no solution. There will be no solution to issues of the nature of the level of crime we have in this country. First and foremost, you begin to even doubt the identity of the people kidnapped, because the country, people don't have identity in this country. People still receive letters through community school or central school. There is no address. And it's such a huge challenge. Little things, there are certain quick wins that we must as a country begin to address. And when you cannot identify people, they kidnap people and it's just like normal. Mr. Speaker, I believe strongly that as a parliament, the Security Committee should be able to get a bird's eye view of what is happening. Because we are totally in the dark. And it is not fair to the girls that are incarcerated. It is also not fair to the Nigerian public. If it is in other places, you will see situations where there is interaction between the families of those who are kidnapped. But here, somebody they are kept in the dark. The absence of knowledge and the absence of the girls, it's just double jeopardy. So, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I know government is established for a reason. Otherwise, this animal called man will end up without any form of organization. But government exists to organize this populace, to secure it. And this government, our government, particularly those in the security sector, must exercise their functions with some level of responsibility. If something has happened, if there are some issues that they are handling behind the scenes, let us know. These girls have sacrificed and stayed so much in captivity. If we cannot fund them or get them out of captivity, we should at least have a knowledge of what is happening to them. So I believe strongly that we should support this motion and that every effort should be made by government to intensify that our girls are brought back to their parents. Nothing more, nothing less. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much, honorable colleagues. Yes, like we have said, differently and collectively, it is painful that after 5 years, we still have that sense that some of our girls are still being captured. It's painful. There's an adage in my part of the country that it is better for your child to be pronounced dead than to say that your child is missing. So, that those children are still there, our girls are still there, is a painful thing. If they are dead, then we can't do otherwise than to look unto God. So it's painful. We keep talking about it, we keep reminding ourselves, both the executive, the legislature, and the Nigerian public, and we still find a way of trying to improve on the new lexicon that has been adopted by Nigeria, security architecture. It's a new lexicon, but the fact still remains we have to improve our security. I won't say security architecture, we just have to improve on our security system and whatever we have put in place. So it's painful, but we keep talking about it. So the question now is, those in favor of the motion say aye, those against say nay. The ayes have it. With the knowledge also of the fact that some of these girls must have died, and some of our security members too must have died in the process. We know of this. So we now have a minute of silence to cover for those girls that have died and the security agencies to involved in securing the release of those girls who have passed away. So let us rise for a minute of silence in that respect. May the gentle souls of the departed rest in perfect peace. Honorable colleagues, the 14th order of the day is consideration of a bill for an act to provide for establishment of Data Protection Commission charged with responsibility for, among other things, the protection of individual and personal data and regulation of the processing of personal information and for related matters. Honorable members will recall that the bill was committed to the Committee of the Whole on Tuesday, 22nd January 2018. Honorable Edward Kiampajok will move for his consideration.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I do move that the House do consider a bill or an act to provide for establishment of Data Protection Commission charged with responsibility for the protection of personal data and data subjects' rights and regulation of the processing of personal information and for related matters, HB 02. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Seconder, Honorable Muchishadi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, my colleagues. My name is Honorable Shadi Mutiu. I represent Shoji Sodo Federal Consensus 1. I'm from Lagos State. I rise that the bill be read the second time. I so move. We cut out for consideration report. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Honorable colleagues, the 15th order of the day is resumption of consideration of reports of Committee on Federal Capital Territory on a bill for an act to provide for establishment of Federal Capital Territory University of Science and Technology, Abaji, and for related matters. Honorable members will recall that on Wednesday, 10 April 2019, the House in the Committee of the Whole considered clauses 1 to 5 and defer further consideration of the bill. Honorable OK Jeff will move for the consideration. I think the Chairman Rules and Business will stand in for OK Jeff. Who?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm standing in for OK Jeff, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker.
Okay, Sergius.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My highly esteemed colleagues, I'm Sergius Ose Ogun. I represent Eastern Northeast, Eastern Southeast, and I'm from Edo State. I rise to move that the House do consider the report of the Committee on Federal Capital Territory on a bill for an act to provide for establishment of Federal Capital Territory University of Science and Technology, Abaji, and for related matters, HB 145, and approve the recommendations therein. Mr. Speaker, I so move.
Honorable Judge, second.
I'm Honorable Alan Sani Jaji, representing Foreign Level Development Magaji. I hereby second the motion by Honorable colleague.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. There is a River State House of Assembly going on somewhere here. No permission is granted. Please come so that Deputy Chair Appropriation. Deputy Chair Appropriation, we are waiting for you. Okay, your chairman is there. Approach the chair. Deputy Minority Leader, you insisted we should have a supplementary order paper. We have, so come back to come and attend to your matter. Come back to come and attend to your matter. So the chairman rules and business, we are taking 3 reports for consideration, one from Abunta, one from chairman rules and business, and one from deputy minority leader. In addition to that, the report of the budget for 2019 will be laid. Thereafter, we adjourn. Committee. That where is Dawaki? Chairman, Rules and Business, please identify those reports that we...
Mr. Speaker, we have a supplementary order paper, and I would be presenting the report on the Committee on Appropriations. We'll also take the Committee on Public Petitions so as to dispense with the matters on the...
Chairman, what I want you to do, those reports that will go to consideration, move motion on them so that it will be seconded. We resolve to the Committee of the Whole. We come back, the Appropriation Committee will come and lay their report.
Thank you.
But identify those reports that we are going to consider one by one. I will ask for a secondment, then we go to the Committee of the Whole, then we come back.
Mr. Speaker, may I move that the House do consider Bill number 14, which is on the establishment of the Data Protection Commission charged with the responsibility for the protection of personal data and data subjects' rights and regulations of the processing of personal information and for related matters. And also number 22, which is the Committee on Public Petitions on the petition by Ezine Anyanwu against the Federal Road Safety Commission on the unlawful termination of appointment and unfair human rights abuse on the female staff of the commission. And then lastly, that the House do consider the report of the Committee on Public Petitions on the petition of God Leads Chioma Motors Nigeria Limited against the Asset Management Company Corporation of Nigeria AMCON on the non-payment of its outstanding amount and approve the recommendations therein. So there are only 3 matters for the Committee of the Whole to consider. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Bota, second. Mike.
I second the motion moved by indefatigable Rules and Business Chairman. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Leader.
Honorable Speaker, respected colleagues, I rise to move that the House of the consider the
Empty.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, I hereby second the motion heavily moved by leader that the House will resolve to committee of the whole.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. House hereby resolves to Committee of the Whole to consider report. The first report to be considered is that of is a Committee of the Whole report for a bill for an act to provide for the establishment of the Data Protection Commission charged with the responsibility of the protection of personal data and data subjects' rights and regulation of the processing of personal information and for related matters. I now invite Chairman, House Committee on Rules and Business to speak to the report briefly.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Incidentally, we ought to have considered this report some time ago, but thank God today we are here to chair this committee report. So this report is on data protection and it seeks to provide a legal and institutional framework for the regulation of personal data processing by private and public organizations in order to avoid the deleterious effects of unauthorized access to data, subject data. It strikes a balance between data protection for private concerns and interests of security agencies and others in need of access to data, subject to the overriding public interest of state security and other lawful needs. Like other bills, this report contains the structure of the agency, its funding, its functions, its composition, and all other allied matters. So, this is the synopsis of the report, sir.
The bill has 73 clauses, so let's go ahead and consider the clauses. Clause 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I don't know why Honorable Yunusa is laughing. You have not been here in the last 2 hours. We have been sitting down here. No, there is nothing like point of order in it. You have not been here in the last 2 hours. 10, 11, 12, 13. Ghana Suko. 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73. Schedule, explanatory memorandum, long title of the bill. So take your seat. The next report to be considered is that of the House Committee on Public Petition on the petition by Enzini Anyawu against the Federal Road Safety Commission on the unlawful termination of appointment and unfair human rights abuses on the female staff of the Commission and approve the recommendation therein. So Honorable Aponta is invited to speak to the report.
matter of a petition concerning from a lady, a road safety officer, a female employed at trade, and was giving the...
Honorable Abuja, please take your seat. Sorry, she's right. Now, Honorable Pajok, look at clause 61 of the report we have just considered. Just get your report. Go and give Pajok a report now. Somebody should be following the procedure of this house. Pajok, what Betty? Oh yeah. Before you amend, there are two stages. First, chairman rules and business. There are two. The first stage is that there is a rule that says you can move a motion on point of order if the motion is related to a subject matter that has just been decided on. So that's the first rule. Then the second rule is you move for rescission, then we cannot take amendment. First rule is that you can move a motion to consider a matter on a matter that has just been decided on. Then you now move for a rescission of that matter.
Mr. Chairman, may I move that this House do look into the matter that has not been decided upon and to also resign the decision that the House took on the matter. I so move.
Any seconder? Dennis.
Mr. Chairman, distinguished colleagues, I rise to second the motion as moved by the Chairman Rules and Business. I so second.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. So, Betty.
Mr. Chairman, honorable colleagues, my name is Betty Apiaku. Mr. Speaker, I rise to amend number 61 of the report we just considered. Clause 61 of the annual report. I want it deleted. The report, clause 61 actually says the Commission shall prepare and submit to the President not later than 3 months after the end of this financial year a report of the activities of the Commission for the preceding financial year and also include therein the Commission's audited account for the year under review, together with the audited report thereon. I don't see why an agency will submit report to the President to start with. But again, I mean, we have the audit process for NPAs, so I think the agency should follow 61 years. So I think we should actually delete that.
But within the bill itself, what is the procedure of submission of the report?
I don't know, but the Commission has a board. So if it has a board, the report should go to their board and not to the President. I think it's wrong for the Commission to send their report straight to the President.
The report of Commission comes to the National Assembly. for consideration. Is it stated in that bill? Honorable Pajot.
Mr. Chairman, it will be odd for the report to come straight to us because by law, I think it's constitutional bodies which are independent are set up by Parliament, and their reports are usually sent to the National Assembly and not to the President. For instance, INEC, for instance, the ESCC, even the Director General's report, because they are constitutional bodies which are supposed to be independent. The reports are sent to the National Assembly straight. But I think this agency, which is a data protection agency, it's an executive body. I do not see anything wrong in the agency sending its report to the to Mr. President for auditing purposes.
So what is your opinion now? That clause be deleted or retained?
So
or is there any other provision of where the report must be sent to?
So I have not heard from the senator-elect the compelling reasons why we should not retain clause 61 as contained in this report. We need to do more than what you have done, sir.
Honorable Betty is asking for a compelling reason why that provision should be deleted, because in the report, I do not think there is any other clause that is making it available for the report to be sent to anybody at all or to any institution.
I'll take him to clause 47(4), which says the Commission shall be provided with all relevant information. Sorry, clause 47(5). The Commission is entitled to request that the person who carries out The Commission shall ensure that there is no onward transmission of personal data pursuant to this section to any third party other than the first recipient. Such other party must meet the minimum requirement to transfer personal data. This is supposed to be confidential information about people. Sorry? Yes.
That the report cannot be transmitted to anybody other than the first recipient. What's the first recipient there?
The Commission shall ensure that there is no onward transmission of personal data pursuant of this section to any third party. So when you're writing a report, what report are you writing? Is it the report about people's personal data that you're transmitting as your quarterly report you're writing? That's what we need to know. So for me, all we need to do is the agency should just be audited like any other agency and be oversighted by the National Assembly. That's what it should be. So we should delete that section of the report, section 61.
You have not answered my question. My question is, in the act of other agencies, at least there is a provision that will say the report must be sent to National Assembly. If you delete this, is there another provision in that bill that says the report must go to this place?
Well, I don't know what we have in the INEC law, but I know that the INEC doesn't send us.
Because we don't have to assume.
But because it's a very sensitive agency.
No, let's first of all.
So like I mentioned, she's mentioning INEC. INEC is called Independent National Electoral Commission. And part of the powers vested on INEC is that it shall not be subject to the control of any agency. Now that is to guarantee the independence of INEC. That's why their reports should not go to the executive, otherwise that will detract from their independence. But on issue of auditing of their finances, it comes
fine, that's what I was saying.
straight here. But INEC is not the same as this body. INEC is a constitutional body protected by the Constitution and not just established by an act of Parliament. That is a distinguishing feature. There's nowhere here that we are saying this
body is independent. That's why I mentioned that it's an executive body subject to the executive. So I think we must be very careful on that, sir.
Mr. Chairman, if this body is not independent, then we must look for a way to protect this body, because this body is going to be keeping very vital information about individuals. Right now, even in Nigeria, we have not been able to do medical information for patients because of everybody's being careful about releasing information about people. So if you form such a body and you don't have any way of protecting the information they put together, then people's information is just going to be out there and they can be used against people without them having a say. So I think that we have to either put a clause that information can, which is what I've just read, it has to be by the request of somebody. We can't just leave it out.
Honorable Betty, I know what you are doing. We have to suspend the consideration of that clause. Chairman, that's my ruling. I'm making my ruling now. The Committee on Rules and Business, Honorable Betty Abiafi, you liaise with them. You look at the report all over. See how fair, see how it can be taken care of, and bring the report back on when we resume. The very day the legislative day will resume. So that's the ruling. So, Honorable Abunta, you can now go ahead with your...
Yeah, thank you, Chairman. This petition from female employee of Federal Road Safety, who felt her appointment was wrongfully terminated, not being in terms and tandem with the appointment paper given to her. When we looked at the petition and considered it, we came with the report that all the Commercial General of the Federal Institution to reinstate the lady, then without payment of arrears, to reinstate her to her duties. That's what we came with.
The report has one recommendation: urge the Corps Marshal of the Federal Road Safety Commission to show mercy on Nesine Anyanwu and reinstate her to the service of the Federal Road Safety Commission without payment of arrears of entitlement and benefit carried. The last report to be considered is still that of the House Committee on Public Petition on the petition by Good Leads Chioma Motors Nigeria Limited against Chioma Motors Nigeria Limited against the Asset Management Corporation of Nigeria on the non-payment of its outstanding amount, and approve the recommendation therein. And I invite the Chairman House Committee on Public Petition to speak to the report.
Thank you, Chairman. This is a petition by God Leads Motors against AMCON. AMCON is the arm of government charged with the responsibility of managing bad debts with banks. At the totality of the evidence presented before the petition, it was obvious to us that the God Leads Motors were not in debit as at the time their transactions passed over to AMCON. Therefore, we urge that they be on flag so that they can do their business with ease, but flagging them as debtors when they're not owing money. And we find it very, very difficult for AMCON to come to do this business. From the account presented to us, the company is being, we had a credit balance of 10.17 million naira at the time they sold their business to AMCON. And as a matter of fact, AMCON still went ahead to put them down because the bank had disappeared from the bank that gave them the money had a match with another bank and all whatnot. It became difficult for AMCON to trade, but they were able to put their own records straight. And as a matter of fact, we said the immediate thing that requires to be done is to take them away from the list of debtors so that they'll be able to continue their business as usual. Thank you. We came with the only recommendation that deals with that AMCON should, as a matter of need, unflag the petitioner, God Leads Motors Limited, and release the title documents to the petitioner.
The report has just one recommendation: urge the Asset Management Corporation of Nigeria AMCON to unflag Chioma Motors Nigeria Limited and release its title documents. Carry leader.
Mr. Chairman, sir, respected colleagues, I hereby move that the House will revert to plenary to report progress. I so move.
Sorry, Mr. Chairman. I was raising my hand. I wanted to, if you read the findings, there's a mistake there. Then again, the committee did a good job. Came up with, did calculations, came up with what the petitioner is being owed for interest. But they came up with all that. But when you get to the recommendations, it's just saying to unflag them without any recourse to what happens to the money is over the years since 2007, 10 years. What happens to the money? So just unflag them and kiss them goodbye. Yes. What about their money?
Yeah, actually, what the observation you're raising is very, very correct, but we considered an issue one. They were being accused of owing the bank certain amounts, but they brought their papers, and upon reconciliation of the account, the bank at 2007 were owing them, they were in a credit balance of 10.something million. We were able to also discover from their balance of excess charges of 357,000 naira. If you sum these two sums together, they came to about 13 million naira, and they sought an interest element as at 28% of that 13 million naira for this since 2007, which came to about 200 and something 250 million naira. And we looked at it and said, well, in the interest of also fairness and the bank that gave them the transaction don't underground, it's a continental and all whatnot, and also passed on to another bank. And AMCOM is holding on to their documents. I said, well, we can't say give you this interest element now, as AMCOM may not be readily going to have that money. But the important is that release their title documents, remove their name from the bank debtors, because they can't even do credit facility anymore. If they check the list of do a credit check, they will put them as debtors when they are not. So they say unflag them and read their title documents. The other issue, I don't know how they can go to trace it. If we now ask AMCOM to pay 250 million naira, then AMCOM will begin to see from where and all what. But I have also opinion which is that the sum of 10 million naira being the outstanding thing without interest can be asked to be given to them. We do not found a strong need to say pay 250. Now there is the opportunity to also say that AMCOM is a Christian of this project. They've been very, very stubborn and hesitant in appearing or obeying the resolutions of this house. I do not know. We appear helpless. We don't know what to do. Because the only option is to also use the power of appropriation to compel some of these bodies to show up, to answer the parliament. Parliament cannot resolve, and they will not do it. And they have confessed several that they hurried up in buying some of those debts erroneously. In fact, CBN also came and said, well, they did not go through diligence in buying them. The banks did paperwork and gave them. More than 10 loans of business had been proved that they had no thing to do about it. So if you ask for an amendment that the sum of the 13 million naira kept in nursery should be returned to the company. But I am not too moved to say that the interest element as at 28, that's what the child is asking, but should be given to them since 2007. But the principal, the accrued principal sum outstanding in the account can be returned to them, which was 10 million naira and not the interest element.
Don't let us be going forth and back on this matter. The Public Petition Committee is only trying to be pragmatic. And the most important thing for this company is to be able to give them back their credibility by having their title documents so that they can sort for further loan. That's the most important thing. And that's the baseline. And since that is easy to at least achieve than to be awarding interest, money, credit, and the rest of them. So I want to agree with them that the recommendation is in order, they are pragmatic. Let the company get back their title document so that they can restore, that's the word that was missing, so that they are able to restore their credibility and be able to solve. So it's in order. So the money aspect of it, we can be silent on it. In fact, administratively, having collected a title document, they can begin to go administratively to and that's because the issue of interest rate, even when you go to bank for loan, they tell you they can vary their interest rate. So if you are claiming 23% and they are able to show you within that period of time that there are people they even gave 17% or 40% to, so it becomes a big issue. So I will agree with the committee, and the House has concurred that let them get their title document back, their credibility restored, and so they can carry on their business. That's the most important, as the baseline. So, leader, please, we go back to the plenary to complete our job? No, remove. This one, Chuchu and the rest of them are changing the procedure of the House.
Mr. Chairman, sir, respected colleagues, I hereby move that the House do refer to planned progress. And so move.
Dara.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we revert to plenary in support of, I second that we move to plenary in support of what leader has moved.
The House hereby reverts back to plenary to report progress. The House in the Committee of the Whole considered the report on the bill for an act to provide establishment of Data Protection Commission charged with responsibility of the protection of personal data and data subjects, rights and regulation of the processing of personal information and for related matters. Approved clauses 1 to 60, defer consideration of 61, approved clauses 62 to 73, the schedule, the explanatory memorandum, and long title of the bill. They just the House in the Committee of the Whole considered the report of the Committee on Public Petitions on the petition by Ezini Anyawu against the Federal Road Safety Commission on the unlawful termination of appointment and unfair human rights abuses on the female staff of the Commission, and approved the only recommendation therein. The House in the Committee of the Whole considered the report of the Committee on Public Petition on the petition by God Leads Chioma Motors Nigeria Limited against the Asset Management Corporation of Nigeria AMCON on the non-payment of its outstanding amounts, and approved the only recommendation therein. Leader.
Mr. Speaker, respected colleagues, I hereby move that the House will adopt the report of the Committee of the Whole. I so move.
Bajok.
Mr. Speaker, I do second the motion as moved by the leader of the House.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Honorable colleagues, the 17th order of the day is to receive the report of the Committee on Appropriation on the 2019 Appropriation Bill. And I invite the Chairman's Committee on Appropriation, Honorable Mustafa Dawaki, to please present the report.
Mr. Speaker, my respected colleagues,
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable colleagues, my name is Honorable Hassan Shekarau. I represent Pirinungwari Giwa Federal Constituency. I rise to second the motion ably moved by the Chairman Appropriation. I so second, Mr. Speaker.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Honorable Mustafa Dawaki, Chairman Appropriation, is invited to lead the report. Who is saying nay? Please, announcement. There will be a meeting of the ad hoc committee on the petroleum industry bill schedule as follows. Date Wednesday, 17 April 2019, which is today. Venue, meeting room 236, House of Representatives. I think 231 was earlier announced, so it's been changed to 236. Time, 2 p.m. prompt. Signed, Honorable Ali Hassan Adodogua, that's the chief whip of the House. Conference Committee of the Nigerian Law Reform Commission Act. Members, Honorable Yuguda Hassan Kila, that's the chairman. Honorable Kamali Adamu Usman, member. Honorable Nena Elendu KJ, member. Honorable Agbedi Frederick, member. Honorable Omali Hassan Atoyoma, member. Honorable Oke Busayo Luwoli, member. So, leader, move for the adoption of the force and proceeding of today.
Right Honorable Speaker, sir, respected colleagues, I hereby move that the House do adopt the force and proceeding of today. I so move.
Chairman, rules and business.
Mr. Speaker, may I second the motion as moved by the leader of the House that we do adopt the votes and proceedings of today. I so second.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Leader, 23rd.
24th was closed. Right Honorable Speaker, respected colleagues, I hereby move that the House adjourn to April 23rd, April 2019 as so moved.
Chairman, rules and business.
For the avoidance of doubt, Mr. Speaker, may I second the motion for the adjournment of the House to Tuesday, 23rd of April 2019 by 11 a.m. I so second.
The House stands adjourned till 23rd of April 2019, 11 a.m.